Hello, everyone. I'd like to call to order the meeting of the Conservation, Sustainability, and Green Initiatives Committee. Rebecca, can you take the roll?
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Reinhardt,
Yep.
Efacoro,
Here.
Camiso, Fine,
Here.
Lockhart,
Here.
Miller,
Present.
Plotsky, Simpson,
Here.
and Tunney.
Here.
7 present, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. First order of business is to review the previous meeting minutes. Does anyone have any questions? Is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
Sam, is there a second?
Second.
Peter, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, unanimous approval. Next order of business is item 2, resolution number 389, authorizing and directing the Water Purification District to require testing for PFCs of pre-treated and leachate waste streams. Sam, do you want to speak on this?
Yes. So what this will do, well, basically, as I think all of us know, we've probably been reading in the news and seeing PFAS, PFOAs, those are becoming more and more of an issue that we're becoming more and more aware of. They're getting into our water streams and they're very damaging to our health and to the environment. And so we want to protect the Hudson River. We want to make sure the Water Purification District discharges a lot of treated waste. And so we want to make sure that we're getting some data that, we're getting the information about what type of what we're letting into our facility. So we already require testing for, looks like 13 facilities currently that we take their waste for a variety of chemicals. So this would authorize the Water Purification District to also test for PFOAs. And it would also include leachate from landfills. A lot of landfills also, we accept leachate in there, and we want to test and see if there's PFAS in that. So I think, this is important because this is a very serious issue. PFAS and PFOAs getting our water supply. We've seen Hoosick Falls. They've just discovered some in Potenskill, I believe it's pronounced. And we want to, I think it's important that we have the data and the information about what we're accepting.
Now, it's my understanding that the cost for the testing will not fall on the water purification plant, but it would fall on the people wanting to put their stuff into our system, correct?
Correct. And that's currently for the testing that they do for the chemicals that we require. They pay for that current testing. So this would continue that same arrangement.
Right.
And then that's based on a local law we passed in 2008.
Mm-hmm. Are there any other questions from members of the committee? Matt?
So, Sam, this is excellent. I've added my name to it because obviously I'm fully supportive of the concept here. And I think you just answered maybe my first part of the question, which was, is the intent just to find out what's going in or to do something about it? So clearly this is intent to get some, sounds to be to get some information if we get this PFAS and PFAS in there. But have we looked at anything? Have you considered anything about if we do find it's coming in? What levels we're going to accept, what we're going to do with it if it is coming in, because a lot of that does get into the sludge. We burn the sludge, and that's been obviously a problem there at Norlight and when they were doing it. So is there any consideration about what happens if we do find out that it's coming in?
Well, yeah, I think the first step is first to find out what's coming in, find out if it's an issue. And then if we find out that it is an issue, we can take it from there. I hope that it's not an issue, but if it is, then I think we're going to want to have some discussions about what the next steps are and how to address that.
Okay, I surely suspect it will. I think Bill touched on it during budget time, didn't you, Bill? A little bit like, hey, if it is in there and we're burning this stuff, now we have a bigger problem.
Yeah. I will say this, Matt. I had participated in some earlier discussions about this legislation, and one of the things we realized was that without really knowing the extent of the problem, it's hard to really understand what the economic implications might be. If it's a low level of concentration, what you might do to deal with it could be very different from if it's a high level. And so I think that's kind of why, how it evolved the way it did, is right now we're really just trying to get a baseline of understanding what is there, if it is there. We suspect it is because of what's going on elsewhere around the country. But, the first step is to really understand the concentrations and the nature of the problem.
Right. So if the conversations already haven't happened with Commissioner Gaudio, I'm assuming, or I'd hope, but I assume that they're already starting to look towards that and planning towards that potential eventuality. And so I don't know if maybe we can get help from the council or somebody to check in with Commissioner Gaudio to see if they're pre-planning for the eventuality of that stuff ending up in our.
I sort of did start down that road during the
Did you
budget
do?
hearing,
Okay.
and that was not the right time.
That's why I bring it up here in this committee, but
Yeah.
let's get that started.
I do think that needs to.
I'm sorry, but we don't want to be proactive. We'd rather be reactive. We want to be proactive rather than reactive in this.
Yeah, I do think that's, the time is now that we know that the digester is not moving forward. We need to start thinking about what the alternatives might be, because I don't think it's going to be a situation where we're going to be able to just incinerate and put the PFAS out there. So,
Right. Okay.
Are there any other comments from committee members? Any other questions? Yes,
Sam,
Peter.
yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Sam, I also support this in concept, and I think you may have answered this already, but we have the technology in place now to add this testing?
Yes.
Sam, you want me to?
I'll let
Okay.
Patrick answer that.
So,
Okay.
Mr. Tunney, the testing occurs at the source of the discharge. So
Okay.
we have, I think 12, I think that's going to go down to 11 different permitted industries. With their permit received by the Water Purification District, they're required to test for certain things.
Okay,
The way Angelo will carry this out is to put in the permit that you also need to test for these,
Got it.
this subject matter. So it's not on our end, it's on their end.
got it. Okay, thank
And
you.
the technology exists, if that's the question.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
One comment I'll make on the question of technology is, and Rebecca, you may have looked into this a little bit more after our prior conversation, but EPA is looking at the issues of PFAS more extensively, and they're coming out with some kind of a roadmap for how to deal with it. And it does strike me that it's possible they may come up with additional testing protocols or additional procedures as they develop their plan, as they recognize the extent of the problem, et cetera. So, I guess I just want to say I could envision where we might need to change that testing based on what EPA, how it evolves at the federal level in terms of testing protocols and that kind of thing. But there are testing protocols right now, and that's the ones we would start with.
Mr. Reinhardt, if I could just paraphrase Mr. Miller, we're being proactive here, not reactive. So we're trying to tackle this one head on.
Oh yeah, no, I I totally agree. Okay, any other questions?
Chairman Reinhardt,
Mark, yes, Mark.
Yes. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's, obviously we need to get a grip on where these chemicals are coming from. But this is a mandate that we're imposing on smaller governments. We talk so much about state mandates. I'm just curious, do we have a clear idea of how much more this testing would be for the facilities that have to do it?
I had prior conversations with the director of the sewer district. I don't think it's going to be anything absurd, and but I can get a monetary amount. I would also note that they're not, the vast majority of them are not municipal entities.
What are they, Patrick, then?
A bakery, I can get you the list, but there's literally a dairy,
Okay, so it's a varied
a
group.
paper manufacturer, essentially an industrial, not a dry cleaner, but washing. It's for linens. It's chemical companies, and then there are 4 leachate producers.
Okay, yeah, I think it's needed, but I think it's, to just be fair to them, we should be able to have some clear idea of what it's going to cost them.
Right.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Are there any other questions? Is there a motion to move this out of committee?
Emotion.
Okay. Oh, Sam, did you want to say something else?
I was saying second.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Also, before you do that, can you add me as a co-sponsor?
Sure.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else on the committee who wants to be added as a co-sponsor right now? Okay. If I'm not already on there, put me on there as well. Okay. All in favor of moving this out of committee with a positive recommendation?
Aye.
Aye.
How many was that? Raise your hand, please. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6. Okay. Any opposed? All right. So that was a unanimous vote to move it out of committee with a positive recommendation. Okay. Next item. The authorizing the notice of publication regarding the 30-day period for public review and comment concerning Albany County Agricultural District Number 1. Is there someone, is Laura here?
Laura's here.
Hello.
Hello,
Back
good evening.
again.
Back for more. We received notification from the Department of Agriculture and Markets to begin the 8-year review of Agricultural District 1, which is comprised of lands in the towns of Bern and Knox. To begin that process, we need to give public notice of the 30-day open period in which landowners can add and remove land from the district.
So Laura, I've got a question for you. I've been wanting to ask this for about 6 years, I think. Let's say a new modern greenhouse wants to come in to the county, which I'm seeing happening all over upstate New York. And if the farmer wants to, or if maybe it's someone who's not farming wants to put a greenhouse up, would they be able to seek approval under this program to be considered in that part of an agricultural district?
Yes, greenhouses are considered agriculture under the definitions of the law.
And that's whether it's a plastic house or a glass house, permanent?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Any other questions from committee members? Any other member of the legislature with a question? This is real controversial, I guess.
Always.
All right. Is there a motion to proceed with this?
Motion.
Matt, second. Patricia, did I see your hand, Patricia? Yes. All right. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Another unanimous. Thank you, Laura.
You're welcome. Good night.
I guess that's it. Is there a motion? Any other comments anyone have to make? All right. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
All right. And a second from Matt Miller. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All
Aye.
right. Meeting adjourned.